Hey guys, Ryan here with Tesla Holic. Just wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about some issues I've been having recently and see if anybody else has been having similar issues. I'd love to have a discussion down below and what the results were. So some of the things I've experienced, I'm at my 2,000 mile mark right now, and you know, it's been, I love my car. First off, let me just preface it that way. I love my car. I have the Model X, a 2017 Model X 100D. This car is amazing. Still the best car I've ever owned as far as enjoy driving, honestly build quality in my opinion. But you know, I just want to review some of the things that I've had go wrong, especially recently when we speak to the electronics. And I want to know if this is something else everybody else is dealing with. So the most recently, last week, something very random.
In 2 miles at exit number 259 for Crossroads Boulevard, take the ramp right.
Last week, something very random started happening. I started getting a really loud sound out of my front dash speakers. So all the speakers within the dash were extremely loud. They were they started making this blaring sound through them that I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I had to I tried canceling my navigation. I tried canceling or turning off the radio. Nothing fixed it. And it, like I said, it was localized to the front speakers, but it sounded like an alarm system going off, and it was an extreme nuisance. Unfortunately, I was running late for a meeting, so I actually had to use GPS because I needed to be at this meeting and I needed to know where the heck it was. It was my first time to this site. So as I was on my way there, it started happening about the last 5 to 7 minutes of my drive. Thankfully, if it had happened the whole time, I don't know what I would have done. So I couldn't really reboot my car while I was driving because, like I said, I still needed the nav. I was in that last little stretch cutting through the city, so I couldn't really then go punch it in my phone. And I was really running late in the sense that if I stopped, I would have been late. Otherwise, I'm going to be right on time. So, so those were not options for me. And I'll play that video here for you to see, so you can hear the sound. I'd love to know if this has happened to anybody else. Also, when I talked, after I get out of my meeting, I called Tesla. When I turned the car off, it actually stopped. So I called Tesla afterwards, find out, I reboot my car, it goes away. I call them, ask them what that is. They said, oh, probably just some glitch in there. We have no idea, reboot. Which seems to be the response to a lot of things, which, if it happened once a month, once every quarter or 6 months, yeah, probably not a big deal. But I'm finding that I have to reboot my car virtually daily at this point, at least daily, I would say. And the other day it even rebooted itself twice in one day. Once while I was stopped, or like when I got in my car, it was rebooting. And then the other time it actually happened when I was going to, I just got in the car, I started driving, I was about 2 minutes down the road, and it just, the center screen just rebooted. So obviously quite a nuisance. Not sure if that has happened to anybody else on the random reboots. But then another issue that I'm having is my Falcon wing door, only my passenger side one, but my Falcon wing door on the passenger side has actually had an issue where it'll close about 3/4 of the way, and then it'll just stop, and I'll get a error beep code. And so I am able to force close it by pushing the button again and holding it down, and it'll close. So not a problem as far as getting it closed. However, quite a nuisance that it stops on that every time, right? It just looks bad when you got a passenger getting in the car and your car fails every time. It's just my wife and I, so we don't use the back doors too often. But at the end of the day, that's still quite the nuisance that every time I do use it, or at least about 80% of the time that I use that door, it fails. So I called the Tesla service on that one, and they have told me that they're going to go ahead and send out a ranger actually for all of these issues. But they've told me that they think it is possibly a failed sensor or something like that. So they're going to check that out. I've tried going through the whole recalibration process to no avail. So nothing's really working at this point. The other issue is my Bluetooth. So I've had them look at this once before, but Bluetooth constantly drops, not necessarily in a call. Sometimes I'll make a call and it won't work, but doesn't necessarily like just disconnect while I'm in a call. But when I'm playing music from my phone to my car via Bluetooth, it'll just suddenly fail. So all of a sudden I'll just lose connection. I've got to either reboot the screen, disconnect the Bluetooth and reconnect it, something like that to kind of trigger it to come back. So that's definitely a problem that I would like to see addressed. And then the last one, what is my last issue? Oh, streaming radio. Oh, actually, let me go back. So the issue that I had with the Bluetooth, when the Tesla looked at it the first time, what they came back and told me was that I have the new iPhone X, and they said with the new iPhones, the Bluetooth, every time a new device comes out, the Bluetooth or whatever has, is new, and they've got to adjust the settings to it, and they've got to go recode all their devices. So, I mean, I've never had this problem in any other car, and I've been an early adopter for the most part on all electronics. So when it comes to an iPhone, I've had every iteration since the first one. So, and I've got them the day they launch. So, not sure why none of my other cars had to recode their Bluetooth, considering none of my other cars even got over-the-air updates, and every device just worked. So something that Tesla's telling me I'm not sure I agree with, but they're telling me that's the way it is. So they did a hard reset of my car. Didn't really fix the issue, still happens. Also, my phone calls are always garbled up, so when I try to call someone on Bluetooth, they tell me that they can't hear me, and that I sound really garbled up, and that I need to call them back. So I'll actually have to reboot my center screen and then call them back, and it fixes it. So Tesla's told me, yes, this happens, you just gotta reboot. Again, that fixes it, but it's very temporary. It doesn't seem right that I've got to reboot my device or car, every day, every couple days when that happens. So wondering if anybody else is having that problem with an iPhone X or even any other device out there. So please comment down below on that. They're coming out again this Friday to work on all of these issues. So that's another thing that they said they're going to address. Lastly, the last issue I'm having is the streaming one. Now, I have read a lot of people having this issue, but where the streaming either just stops playing while I'm playing it, and I have the latest update on my car, at least, well, not the latest. I would say I got an update about 2 weeks ago to 2018.2, so maybe it was like 4 weeks ago. But anyway, I have a pretty recent update, and none of the updates seem to change this whatsoever. It's been going on, maybe it's even gotten worse, if anything, where it just drops out, it'll stop playing, and then also it will, when you go to get in the car and you were listening to streaming or whatever last time, it should default to that, right? Well, it doesn't. It actually seems to go back to FM radio all the time, which is weird, or at least 60 to 80% of the time it does that. So again, another nuisance, especially if I'm in a rural area and it's very staticky. I have great LTE signals, so it's not like I can't pick that up, but yeah, that's another problem for me. So these are the things I'm dealing with. Hopefully Tesla can fix all of these. They're saying they may have to reset my entire car, but I just really hope that this can all be put to rest. And that's all my technical glitches at 2,000 miles. The other thing that I've had is my dash was actually warped when I got the car, so there was this curves in it. They have since come out. They sent a ranger out, replaced the whole dash, which was great. They replaced a piece of trim that was a little bit bent as well. It was actually sticking up when I went to push it down. It creased it, so they went ahead and replaced that. Other than that, the build quality in this car has been phenomenal. My panel gaps are great, so I haven't had any issues there. The car is gorgeous. It rides nice. There's no rattles. I take that back. I did have one rattle. That was in my back subwoofer, because I have the premium upgrade package. So the upgraded sound system has a sub in the back, and that sub did have a rattle in it. Whenever the bass would hit, it would just rattle. It sounded like someone that had in the 80s had big speakers in the trunk, and everything would rattle. they fixed that. They were able to put some padding and some shims in there to isolate that, and now the sound system sounds phenomenal. So if you're having that issue, definitely call them. There's a fix for that. But no, other than that, man, the car has been great. I am really satisfied with it. Just wondering if anybody else has seen these. I'd love to hear comments below so we can kind of have a discussion around it and see what results you guys have received from Tesla on this, if any of these have been able to be fixed. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below and like, so I can help build my page and presence here. I really appreciate everybody watching this. Thank you. Have a great day.